Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and blind reviews. And as you can see from the title, I am reviewing Overlord Volume 7. As of now, I don't know if I'm posting Overlord reactions because as of recording, I'm currently on a hiatus because I'm editing a lot of videos. So I decided to just finish recording season 2 before posting. So I'm on a slight hiatus and I haven't recorded, and I need to record the last couple of episodes of season 2 from Overlord. So hopefully I'm posting reactions by now, but I'm not sure. But either way, welcome to this review. The Overlord playlist is linked in the description. You'll find my current reactions. You will find vlogs where I have mentioned Overlord and where I've read them. You'll find it there. You'll find my light novel reviews, and it'll all be in order. So if you're interested in my Overlord content, the description has you covered. Before we begin, if you enjoy my content, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. That way you're aware when I release videos. Also, if you want to check out my writing, you can check out my website where I have a blog and I do book reviews as well as audio description critiques, among other things. I just kind of share my writing there. But also, you can consider supporting me if you're interested by buying my book. Currently, it is my debut and it is the only book out at the moment. It is my debut fantasy book, Daughter of Death. It's the first in a series, an episodic series, but it is loosely connected, which follows Vivian, an 8-year-old girl who is discovered by the mortal realm. She is a half deity, the daughter of a ruler of the dead and a mortal woman. And now that the mortal world has kind of discovered her, her family now has to adjust to this change. She and her unusual family, I would say, have to adjust to this change. So we follow her in this book and the events that lead up to that. If this interests you and you have also a general love for fantasy and short stories, this will be the book for you. It is a quick read, but I think it's something I'm also very, very proud of. So if you're interested in that, I will link the books, the retailers, in the description. Currently, you can find them on You can find the book on Smashwords, Apple, Kobo, and Barnes & Noble as of recording. So you'll find it there. Hopefully soon it'll be on Amazon. If it is on Amazon by the time by the time this is out, I'll try to link it. But yeah, if hopefully it'll be there. But you can find it in those retailers. I am currently running a pre-sale only available on Smashwords. So if you would like to read my work early, you can buy it on Smashwords and participate there. If you choose to participate in the pre-sale, I ask that you please review my book. I would really appreciate it if you have the time to do so. Reviews are very helpful to authors. And on all retailers, you can find my book for 99 cents. And with that, thank you for your consideration and enjoy the video. We're back to Overlord reviews. Yay! This just keeps, I will say, side note to when we start this review, the fact that I'm able to get to like Overlord volumes faster is basically telling me, hey, you need to get to JoJo a little bit faster. Like the last JoJo arc is out. It was out in July. Come on, do the JoJo videos. Like this is what it's telling me. It's just that the JoJo arcs are so long. When I watch anime arcs in general, I have a not necessarily a hard time focusing, but when the arcs are really long, kind of like dependent on the arc, when they're very long, it just takes me forever to watch, and I go on these like long hiatuses of not watching JoJo or not watching those anime arcs because they're long. So it's kind of like that, but I really need to. Maybe I just needed to. I just need to figure out how to. I just need to figure out how to watch it, slow down with it, and then like even if it's gonna take me a while, I'll still be able to watch and review these arcs. So I think that's it. But with the books, it's so much easier. And and Overlord arcs slash light novels are actually kind of short, so it's easy to get through them. Like, really easy, even though I'm reacting to episodes. Well, I don't know. I know that I think this review is coming out December of 2023, but at least that is a scheduled plan. But the anime is taking me a little bit to react to because I also take some time off here and there. But it's just telling me to get to JoJo as quickly as possible because I haven't gotten to most of JoJo, and I want to move on to another anime series, so that I can react to not react but review another anime series and talk about it, or even react to it or something. I'm not sure. I don't know how I want to do the Dragon Prince yet. I don't know if I want to react to it or just review it. Probably review it, but because I'm still with this, and I want to do a couple of other. Because I could react to the show, even though I've already watched the show. That's the problem. So I'm not sure if I want to react to it or not. But still, I should get to JoJo and keep finishing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That way I can move on to another series. But anyway, let's just get to Overlord and be happy that I got through this volume as soon as I did. And also, I need to get through the other Shield Hero volumes. I know that too. A group of workers whose better judgment has been clouded by hopes and expectations have descended into the unknown depths of the mysterious tomb. Ah, yes. These trespassers include the small but elite team Foresight, the storied warriors of Heavy Masher, crew lead. The crew. I'm sorry, not so. The crew led by a legendary elder worker, Greenleaf, and the invincible swordsman of Angel. They are some of the best that can be hired, but as more and more vengeful residents of Nazarick appear, will any make it out alive? I could spoil that for you right now because I know the answer since I read it. But this has an interesting. I think it has this book has a really interesting follow-up to things because I mentioned, by the way, I do want to address this in this way. I mentioned that I had I felt slightly disconnected from the last arc. I think when I read it, because I reviewed the last arc, Men of the Kingdom? Yeah, Men of the Kingdom. I reviewed that last arc months apart. So, or at least not months apart, but I read it. I don't know if I can't remember how the schedule is for that in right now because I don't have it open, but I should have it open. But I can't quite remember how far apart it is in the schedule for you guys. But I do remember that I read the last two arcs of the last arc. I read it I felt disconnected when reviewing volume 6 because I think I read it somewhere in September, and I read volume 5 all the way back in June or something, or July. Oh wait, no, I read it I think I read it around December, or something in that way. I read it a couple of months apart. So for you guys, for you guys it's gonna come in a couple of months, but I read it months apart. So I read the series. I read because what was available to me was volumes. I think the first thing that was available to me was volumes 1 through 4 on Audible, and then I pre-ordered volume 5 and volume 6, if I remember, something like that. It was something along those lines because volume 5 came out and then I remember reading volume 6 sometime in like December or so, because I read it like, I think, yeah, I read it around those times for me. Like it was a December read for me, like the end of 2022. um a December or November read. Pretty sure it could have been November, can't really remember, but it was around those times. But I remember reading like volume 5 during the summer, so it was a couple of months away for me, and I remember feeling disconnected because the arc, because it was one arc. So Men of the Kingdom was separated between volumes 5 and 6. So it was one arc, but I felt disconnected because I read them in separate, like, months apart. But I did not feel that with this one, thankfully, because it's an entirely new arc. That's like the one thing I can say, that while the Overlord arcs are connected, because everything is connected in Overlord, it's reminding me of classic Dragon Ball and beginning of Dragon Ball Z, where all the arcs were connected to everything. Like the Saiyan arc was connected to the Frieza, to the Namek arc because of who Frieza was, and then the Android arc was connected to the Frieza arc, because, and even the Saiyan arc to a point, but mainly the Frieza arc because of who defeated Frieza and why that person came. So it's a really interesting thing. So what I like about Overlord right now is that all these arcs are connected, but I don't feel but I don't feel disconnected if I read them separately until, of course, Men of the Kingdom. So thankfully, I didn't really feel that disconnect, even though I read them like 2 months apart. I don't feel that disconnect because it was entirely a new arc, and we got kind of caught up in the prologue. We got like a catch up kind of thing where we got told, like, because they were being given like rewards and like and stuff like that for a job well done, which this is where I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoilers right now, which is where it's very funny because this is where Ainz realizes that his loyal subordinates are basically, their plan is a plan to conquer the world. He didn't see it that part because he made a joke. It has to do with volume 1. So in volume 1, Ainz kind of made a joke of how great it would be to conquer the world, and he made it to, I think it was Demiurge, and Demiurge took it seriously enough that he told the others, and Albedo is like, yep, just like, let's he wants to conquer the world, awesome, let's hold back on that, and let's follow his plans and proceed with the plan to take over the world. That is how bonkers this whole thing is, but I enjoy it so much. There is so much enjoyment over watching, just reading and watching these NPCs and Ainz just like try to conquer the world. And no, you don't necessarily root for them to succeed, but it's so much, it's fun. It's really fun, which is why I like to review these separately, because like it's just so much fun to talk about this. But in this one, is where he kind of finds out, and in the beginning he sort of struggles with the fact that, yeah, his subordinates want to conquer the world, no big deal, and he's like, I don't know, I somehow didn't realize that this was what they wanted. Like, what do I do? You know what I mean? He's like wondering what to do. I think there's even a point where he's like, it probably wouldn't be so bad to conquer the world, which is one of those things that, although it's not necessarily explored, although I thought it was in the first book, it's not necessarily looked at often. It's kind of implied. It's not like a full-on it's kind of explored, but not as fully as like super fully, right? I don't know how to explain the exploration for this, but one of the things that I think I talked about in the first volume of Overlord that I enjoyed was the idea of the psychological exploration that could happen, or kind of happens, of the original Momonga, who's that's not his original name, but I don't really remember like what his, like, he was an office worker, and everything, and he was really into this game. He was into Yggdrasil. So and now in Yggdrasil he was in undead, and now he's in undead, but he's still the exploration that I found was the interesting psychological exploration of being an undead, where his emotions are suppressed, but he still has his human side, which make him act emotionally, but also it also kind of guides him to do certain things, like he though he doesn't fully care about humans as an undead, his human side is a little bit more sympathetic or empathetic to them. And I thought that was really interesting as an exploration. So yeah, I don't know. I found that to be kind of an interesting, like, a character exploration that kind of continues to be, but it's more like implied. Mainly what you're watching is what we're reading about and watching, if you are consuming the anime the way I am with the books and the anime, because I'm doing both. If you're doing that, kind of what we're consuming really is an overpowered character having no consequences and getting to do kind of what he wants. And most of the time, it's more about, it's not about if it's good or not, it's about it being advantageous for him. So you're watching a guy who's really into video games role playing the video game. It's kind of interesting. And now I want to talk about one of the things that was interesting in this book that came in, because each of these books has an intermission kind of thing. And I want to talk about this because I brought it up in an episode where I have not edited this, but I will be editing this in. I brought up an episode, but I do need to correct something in that episode. But I want to talk about world building for a little bit, because I am currently confused about something in the world, and I kind of want to talk about it. So in the intermission, we have these characters meeting, and it turns out they're like old friends, and one of them used to be like that, I think hiding in like a piece of armor. I don't really know how to describe this. But basically this came up in season 2 of Overlord, and I remember this a lot. And something interesting came up about the world. So I've mentioned, I think at least in the first volume, that the world building is really good. I enjoy the world building. I like the way it is. I think it's good. I think what I didn't mention is that it does use mainly soft world building, where not everything is like super explained. Things are that way, and they are. So just follow along with it. But what it does do is it gives us a like a soft, it's soft world building. It's not super it's not with super hard on the rules, and it's not like and it also has a soft magic system, right? But what I argue is that even soft world building needs to make some sense. In this intermission, in the scene that I mentioned, we have these two characters talking, who are old friends, and one of them tells this girl, like, I know that you retired as an adventurer, but I need a favor. He's like, okay, what is it? And he tells her to find out, I think, about people or items, I can't remember, or I think people or something like that, from Yggdrasil, to find out about that. So this is where I am confused, because if you don't know, Overlord is an Isekai, right? But in the Isekai, most people they don't know about the other world that they travel from. So, like, okay, take the Rising of the Shield Hero, which is an Isekai, and basically what you have is you have these men that are traveling from different versions of Japan, each of them from a different version. There, the people know where they traveled from. They traveled from like the other worlds and stuff like that. But at the same time, the people don't know anything about like that other world or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to ask is, how does this person know about Yggdrasil? Because Yggdrasil was established to be a game. I'm hoping this gets explained later, but Yggdrasil is established to be an RPG game, and you would roleplay and all that stuff, right? It is established that it is an RPG game in the future, and that it it hits like the, you know, that's what it is. It's established, and it is established that when they came to this world, it's really kind of not like Yggdrasil. You know, like the world that Momonga traveled to is not necessarily kind of like Yggdrasil that much, but that some of the things that he has kind of work like the way they do in Yggdrasil. So he's still trying to kind of learn about this world, and the non-player characters, the NPCs that are his subordinates, don't really know what Yggdrasil is, it seems to be, except for in the anime where they seem to know, and they seem to know about this, and it's really weird. But then they don't seem to know except for Ainz, who knows all about the game and is separating this world that he's in from the video game Yggdrasil. So I'm wondering, how does this person know, how do these people in the intermission know about Yggdrasil? And while it's being separated, was it like some kind of different world? Like, was it real in the game? Or like, are these people like, were they original guild members or something? Like, what happened here? That's what I want to know. What happened? Because I don't understand with this. It feels like very shoddy world building. And I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know. I'm feeling slightly confused because this seems to be an error in world building, but I don't know how true that is. And by the end of this, by the way, just a spoiler, everybody dies, even the one that should have survived. The sad thing about Overlord is that you find characters that are like doing everything for like good reasons, and you root for them to hopefully win, but then you know that Ainz or his subordinates are gonna end up killing them, and it's so sad. Like, it's so sad. So yeah, like that is a thing, and I'm not gonna show you how they die, but they die in a very different, in each different ways. It is a very interesting dynamic that everybody has in this thing. And by the end, Albedo also seems to have a plan of her own to like because she's asking for like this secret surveillance kind of group to search for the guild members, and she seems to have a plan of her own, which is not fully surprising considering that she is in love with Ainz, and you know, just not surprising. I think it's not surprising. I wish I could be surprised with what she I guess plans to do, but I'm not, because it's hard to be impressed. It's hard to be surprised, I guess. It's really hard. So yeah, that's like my big thing, you know. That's my big thing. So no, that's it. That's like my big thing. So that's like the big part, I think, about what I find slightly like shoddy world building here. But I could be wrong. Maybe someone who has read the other light novels can let me know if this is just shoddy world building or if I'm looking too far into this. But I don't know. It feels shoddy to me. But I'm waiting. Last time I checked, Overlord is not Volume 8 is not available for pre-order yet on Audible. Let me see. Come on, Yin Audio. Yeah, because I'm reading all of this through Audible and hoping that they're in and I usually pre-order them before they're released. We're about to find out, everybody. Hold on. I'm doing this. What I will say though is that 7 volumes in, and I am enjoying it. Like, you know, I am enjoying what I'm reading, which is fun because I don't do a lot of just like fun reads like Overlord all the time. I just kind of, you know, what I can, I guess. I do what I can. Let's do Overlord light novels. So like I do what I can, but I don't always end up doing fun reads like Overlord where it's just not meant to be it's not always meant to be like super I don't know, it's not necessarily meant to be super like super critical. It's just meant to be like super fun. I do criticize about the writing here and there, but that's me. So let me see. Over the Volume 3, Volume 1, Volume 4, Volume 6, Volume 7, which is the last one I just read, Volume 5. Okay, so Volume 8 is not ready to be pre-ordered yet. So I guess I'll wait. I don't know how, I'll be waiting. I don't know how long it'll be for you guys, but here's to hoping not that long. Although I do have other reviews to do, so probably long. Anyway, let me know in the comment section, what do you think of Volume 7 of Overlord? I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's been fun reading it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I'm glad to be back to reviewing Overlord light novels. Honestly, I'm enjoying it. So, I really need to try to get to JoJo though. Seriously, it's like I actually should do what I can to watch more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and get through it faster. That is a goal I have and need to actually get through. That way I can finish that and I can go and I can do, I want to really do the Dragon Prince or Money Heist. Either one will do for me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are interested in the content I post here. If you would like to check out my writing, you can check out my website or consider supporting me by buying my book or my debut fantasy story, Daughter of Death, which is part of the Child of Death series. So if you have any interest in preferably fantasy short stories, it is very much a quick read, and if you just kind of want to get an intro to my writing, that is a good way to do that. I'll have the links in the description. You can find them currently on Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords. Hopefully soon they'll have, it'll be on Amazon. Currently it's not, but hopefully soon it'll be there. So you can find it there. I'll have the links in the description, and I hope you enjoy it. Currently, I am running a pre-sale only available on Smashwords. You can basically read my work early if you buy it directly through Smashwords, but for every other retailer, it is in pre-order. So feel free to use your retailer of choice. If you choose to participate in the pre-sale, I ask, and I would really appreciate if you would review my book if you have the time. Reviews are very helpful to authors. On all retailers, you can find my book for 99 cents. Thank you so much for your consideration, and with that, thank you also for watching, and until next time, consume stories. Bye!